Right, so today, YouTube heads, we're talking about what makes something OP in Mortal Kombat 1. Now, obviously, first thing you're going to say is Cyrax, Baraka Cyrax, Johnny Cyrax, and I'll probably make you right, yeah, it probably is Cyrax, but why is Cyrax making all these things OP? So there's one of two things that will make Cyrax make a character strong. The first thing is that, well, actually, it's three things, let me take that back. It's three things! So one of these three things is that it will make all of your stuff advantage on block, and this is because you can just do things and then call him out. So like you can do something unsafe, call him out, and then he's just spinning, he's doing helicopter on your block, and then when he's done that, it's your turn again. So that means for characters like Johnny Cage and Cyrax, your turn is near enough infinite. And the reason behind this is, right, if you break Johnny Cage down as a character, he's got plus frames on all of his highs. So he's like +3, +4, +1000, whatever, it doesn't really matter. So he's got plus frames on all of his highs, and then when he finally decides to check you with a mid, which will hit you if you try and mash, he can just cancel that into something, into Cyrax, and then he's plus. So that theoretically means that there is no situation where Johnny Cage is not actually at advantage as long as he's hitting you on block. So this also applies to other characters. It doesn't have to just be Johnny Cage. Let's say Lee May, like Johnny Cage Light, she's got the same sort of thing. She's plus on all of her things, and if she wants to be, she can be more plus with the Cyrax assist. I don't really see Lee May play with Cyrax, but this is just a theory. This is just a game theory or something along those lines. You know what I'm saying? So the other thing that is making Cyrax so ridiculous right now is that he's giving these characters damage. So not only is he giving you infinite turns on block, which is my turn, my turn, my turn, and if you ever get hit, now you're taking 50%. If you look at characters like Baraka, Raiden in the corner, Johnny Cage, they're doing some serious damage, all doing basically 50%, give or take a few percent, right? So giving these characters damage is just the second thing. It's not just those characters as well. Kenshi is getting serious damage, Kitana's getting serious damage, everyone is getting serious damage. So I think it's kind of fair to say that, yeah, Cyrax is giving so much to these characters. I think he is a key component in what can make some characters overpowered, or if you want to say overpowered, just really strong in the current meta and what we know of the game right now. So the third quality that you can look at and make something really strong in this game is the assist and the ambush, which of course Cyrax is, right? So we're on the topic of Cyrax right in a minute. So Cyrax can be called out at any point as long as you're not blocking an opponent's attack. So that's why you can do all these things with all these characters. He's an enabler. He lets you do unsafe moves and make them plus because he's an ambush. If Cyrax was a summon, so like Kung Lao Lohat, that's a summon, right? It stops what your fighting character is doing. The character comes out, your fighting character stands in a little pose, and then the assist does their move. Cyrax ain't got any of that. He's just like, yeah, I'm here, helicopter, I'm covering up your gaps and making all your stuff plus and giving you mad damage. So when you combine all three of these things, he's an assist that doesn't have a summon. He does loads of damage, and on top of that, he's giving you infinite turns on block. So it's just like, how long can you take this offense for? And when you finally crack, you just lose because you're taking 50% against some of these characters. And it's not even a handful, it's quite a lot at this point. It seems like every day some next character is finding 50% with Cyrax. Oh wow, amazing. So yeah, Cyrax, he's got three really strong points to make him OP in MK1. All of these things that we've been looking at so far around Cyrax basically revolve around the character being rushed down, with the exception of maybe Kitana Cyrax. So that means there's an other end of the spectrum, right? So the other end of the spectrum is the Zoner archetype, which first of all, if you're sitting there saying, Foxy, the Zoners are just spammers, blah, 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 get good. That's all I can really say about that, is get good. You can't, people ain't playing fighting games, they're playing the way you want them to, because you want them to lose to you, alright? So no one's ever going to do that. Anyone with a brain? Alright, so anyway, back to my point. Kung Lao is the one that's going to be enabling the Zoner archetype. You'll see this with like people playing Liu Kang Kung Lao and Shang Tsung Kung Lao, stuff like that. Or Lee May, I've been doing Lee May with Kung Lao. Pretty much the low hat is so advantage on block from a distance, you get to do your other projectiles behind it. So this works for multiple characters, like even Sub-Zero, for example. He can throw out a low hat and then throw out a clone push behind it, right? The low hat will basically stick you in place for the next projectile to be played. So this is the kind of move that you can just give to any character character. I'm pretty sure you can put Kung Lao with any character in the game, and now they become annoying to deal with. Like, they're just annoying because they're going to be advantage, well, they're going to be +2 when they block the hat up close, and from far away, you've always got something forcing you to crouch block. So Kung Lao Kung Lao isn't making characters OP. He's just OP by himself because he's forcing people to play respectfully, and you've got to be aware of the low hat. And on top of that, he's creating some ugly mix-ups if he has enough advantage to get the buzzsaw out. So yeah, the Zona archetype is strong. It's a summon assist. So like I was saying about the Cyrax thing, Cyrax is an ambush, so he can just come out whenever. Kung Lao is a summon assist, but he recharges really fast and he spawns really fast to the point where he might as well just be an ambush. And on top of that, you can hold the buzzsaw out, which essentially then becomes an ambush because you can release it whenever you want. So Kung Lao is making characters stronger just by virtue of putting something on the screen that the other guy has to deal with because it runs along the floor. That's low horizontal screen control, and that is always strong in NetherRealm games. If you look at the past, let's say MKX, MKX Melina, piercing. If you know about that, she was strong because she had a really good high projectile and a really good low projectile that forced you to want to jump, and then she had a strong mid. Like, this is a really fundamental game plan, and just having that low enables all of this sort of thing. So now we've got a Cameo that puts that game plan into everybody. So that just by existing is strong. So now we've established you've got the Zona archetype Cameo, Kung Lao, the Rushdown archetype Cameo, which is Cyrax. There's going to be other cameos in there that change up this dynamic. So Sub-Zero Cameo, I think, beats the Kung Lao Cameo. And it might also beat the Cyrax Cameo depending on what character you pair it with. So Cyrax characters always want to come towards you, right? They always want to be doing, I'm plus, and I'm going to do mad damage if I ever hit you. But what if you play a character like, I know, you get a lot of you could be like, oh, what? No way. Katana Sub-Zero, right? Katana Sub-Zero, in theory, never has to interact with another character in the game because she can just escape. She can play with the ice armor. So she's essentially playing like how Jade played in MK11, but with 40% meterless. So Sub-Zero's given her 40% combos. He's given her ice armor on her stuff, and then she's also got fans to avoid losing the zoning war as well at the same time because her fans do a lot of damage for a projectile. She's really good. This is just thinking on like how the development of the defensive game will go, because when a new fighting game comes out, you know what you see. You're always going to see, first things first, this character does a big damage combo, i.e. Baraka. Second thing is always, oh look, we can put you in a block string for a year. That's Johnny Cage. This happened in like pretty much every game. This happens in every game, and it's not just Mortal Kombat or NetherRealm games. I remember this happening in like Dragon Ball and Street Fighter and whatever. But the last thing to develop is always going to be the defensive side of the game. The reason for that is because you have to know what you got to defend against, right? So that's fair enough. But this will eventually mean that the offense isn't going to be as strong, and this will be through either us learning the matchup, learning the counters in the cameos, and also using the system mechanics better. So for example, flawless block. If you watch how the flawless block works in this game, I was talking about this in another video. Flawless block will negate the chip damage of the opponent for as long as they are plus. So back to the Johnny Cage Cyrax thing, you know how he's always plus. If you flawless block, right, so say Johnny Cage does 1-1 on block, and you flawless block the second one, and now he's just continuing his offense after that hit. If you look, it's taking 0 chip damage, and it's a long time you're taking 0 chip damage. Do you know what that means? That means that you have to start throwing as the Johnny Cage player, because he's not really going to open you up. He hasn't got overhead low like that. It's just about constantly keeping you under pressure, constantly keeping his turn. So when he has to throw, it might become a bit more obvious because, you know, like, he's doing no damage, he's got to throw you. He's like, I've got to throw you because I'm just never going to actually hurt you after this point, which then brings in the mind game of, I know you're going to throw, now I just might duck at a certain point, micro duck, and that reduces the risk really of defending against him. So you don't have to press a button on his plus frames. You might just micro duck in a certain few spots and catch a throw, and now you've done whatever your max damage is, got him off you, and then you can either like keep him out for a bit, or if he gets back in, then he's just gonna be put back in that same sort of mind game. It can get a bit weird, I think. We'll have to see how it develops. I know I'm just going on, and I was like, oh yeah, just shut up. Basically, to answer the question, what makes something OP in MK, it's either going to be damage, infinite plus frames. For the assist, it's like having an ambush assist, or if when it's a summon, something that recovers really quickly, so like Kung Lao, Cyrax. And at the minute, it just seems to be relentless offense, just relentless offense that never ends into just mad damage. And also a 50-50. A 50-50 in this game is going to be good because that'll break the flawless block that I was just talking about. So you can only flawless block something you've successfully blocked, but you can only successfully block a 50-50 with 50% chance, right? So you could get cooked just for trying to flawless block against a character with a straight up 50-50, but they're kind of rare in this game, so that's probably not going to be too much of an issue. And then obviously the defensive side of the thing is yet to be fleshed out. I think the defensive side of the game will actually be pretty nasty. It'll probably be like timeout central for some of these characters, and when that happens, maybe the Baraka Cyraxes and the Johnny Cyraxes will start to suffer a bit. That's just a theory though, like, you know me, I'll philosophize about the game. That's what I'm doing. So yeah, that's pretty much my idea. What makes it OP? Relentless offense, 50-50, ambush, plus frames. Yeah, stuff like that. That's my point. Deal with it. If you got something to comment about it, then you want to just moan at me, say, you don't know what you're talking about, all you do is spam it, all you do is grip, blah, blah, blah. Comment about it, moan at me in the comments. I'll probably just argue with you. And of course, check out the other videos on there as well. There's a bunch of stuff just either talking about or showing off certain characters. And yeah, also check out the Twitch because I'm there every day, just making life hard for people on the game. So yeah, cheers for watching. Thanks so much. Thank you for your time. Can I talk? Come on now, do a talk. Use the English. Yeah, whatever. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you again.